Hello, my name is Robert M. Ross, and I'm a licensed professional counselor here in chilly Northeast Pennsylvania in November of 2019. Here to talk to you today about an important topic. It has to do with physical health, because that is related to mental health. But before we get started, I have to give my normal disclaimer. I am not your therapist. This isn't a therapy session. Nothing in any of my videos can be construed, interpreted as mental health treatment. If you do need mental health treatment, I would encourage you to seek a therapist out in your area. You can either call your insurance and they would be able to connect you with someone who is in network in your area. You can also use Psychology Today's Find a Therapist function, and you can search by your zip code, conditions you're seeking to treat, your insurance, everything, and they'll be able to pop up a number of providers in your area that would be qualified to help you. That being said, I want to talk today because I've been hearing a lot of people coming into my office, people I've just been talking to, talking about obesity. And obesity is a huge thing, and no pun intended. Obesity is a huge thing. What is going on nowadays, apparently, is we're hearing the cry of healthy at every size. And that is absolutely, positively unscientific, untrue, wrong, and will get lots of people killed. And here's why. And as I get into this, I want you to understand that yes, I'm a therapist, and no, I'm not a doctor, and no, I'm not a nutritionist, and we're going to be referring to the Centers for Disease Control. You can search also for the National Institutes for Health. You can search with the National Health Service in the UK. Any developed nation that has a health system is going to tell you that based on a overabundance of scientific research, obesity will kill you. So when you see people out there saying it's okay if you're overweight, it's okay if you're large, it's okay if you're, whatever, they're not being correct, they're not being true, and that is absolutely going to get people killed. Now, true, I'm just a mental health guy. So why talk about obesity? Why talk about physical health? Well, as I noted in my exercise video, there is a wealth of scientific evidence that this is actually connected to this. Go figure. And when this isn't working well, this doesn't work well. These are connected. When this isn't being treated right, when you're not feeding this correctly, whatever you're feeding this, you're also feeding to this. And there's actually a growing field, and you can look this up for yourself, and I always encourage people to look up things for themselves. You shouldn't just listen to some guy on YouTube for all your opinions. You should go and actually research things for yourself. There's a growing field called nutritional psychiatry, where there are doctors out there, they're researching and looking into what do we eat, how do we eat, and how does that affect our thinking, our emotional state, our cognitive abilities. And they're starting to come back with some pretty interesting results. So I would encourage you to look that up for yourself. But if you're a man and you are looking or seeking to improve yourself, if you're looking to become the best you can be, and you're working on your thinking, and you're working on your beliefs, and you're working on your default settings, and you're working on all the things that I talked about in my other videos, avoiding abusive relationships, if you're working on all those things, that's awesome. But you can't ignore the rest of you. This body is what furnishes this mind with everything. Every once in a while, I'll get some guy in my office that, maybe he's a computer science guy, or, he's a college student, he's in mathematics or something like that. And when I talk about physical health, their eyes glaze over and they're like, well, what does that have to do with me? And I put it to them this way. Let's say you're 35 and you're about to hit the button that publishes the next killer app that's going to make you $1 million. And just before you hit that button, your heart explodes because you haven't been taking care of your body. How great is that brain of yours going to work when your heart stops beating? It's important. Now, is it doom and gloom? Is everyone going to die at 35 if they're overweight? Of course not. You will die early. So I have some CDC stats here. And this is straight from the CDC website. I'll put the link in the description. You can look at this yourself. You can look at some of the consequences of obesity. According to the CDC, Centers for Disease Control, they crunch all the numbers of why people die, how people die, when people die. All causes of death, mortality. So basically, if you want to die, being obese is a great way to die. High blood pressure, also known as hypertension. Obese people have hypertension at a much higher rate than the rest of the population. High LDL cholesterol, low HDL cholesterol, and high levels of triglycerides, which is also known as dyslipidemia. When you have your cholesterol out of whack, you end up with clogged up arteries. Not a good thing. Type 2 diabetes. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you that might be criticizing this video before it's even through, type 2 diabetes is not a cultural construct. You can get it and it can kill you. It will lead to all sorts of other debilitating illnesses that will lead to your early demise. You can deny it all you want. Reality doesn't care. Coronary heart disease, just as I discussed earlier, stroke, gallbladder disease, osteoarthritis, a breakdown of cartilage and bone within a joint. Bunches of doctors are out there saying, if there's more of you than there should be, it's going to put additional strain on your joints, knees, ankles, hips, back. All those things are going to be under additional strain because there's more of you than your body is designed to carry. It will break down sooner. I'm seeing people at progressively younger ages that need knee replacements, hip replacements, because they're big and they're not taking care of themselves and their body's breaking down because of it. Sleep apnea and breathing problems, and that can actually in some cases kill you. Some cancers, such as endometrial, breast, colon, kidney, gallbladder, and liver. Low quality of life, especially when you get into your later years. If you end up with diabetes and you end up with poor circulation, you have multiple amputations, you're not going to have a real great quality of life. Body pain and difficulty with physical functioning. And I see this all the time as well. You know, kind of like one of my things that I say for myself is I never want to be that guy that sounds like Darth Vader when he walks up 3 flights of stairs. Don't be that guy. Take care of your body. It's part of you. And actually, you can work on the rest of you. If you don't take care of your body and you die quick, it's not going to help you. Estimated costs of obesity. The medical care of costs, according to the CDC, the medical costs of obesity in the United States are high. In 2008 dollars, these costs were estimated to be $147 billion. Now, guys, as we continue to become more and more obese, as we continue to become more and more sedentary, we're going to see more and more of this. I literally know people that as they're doing their 401ks, IRAs, and they're figuring out where they're investing, they're literally investing in big pharma. They're investing in long-term care facilities. They're investing in this because they're looking at all the people around them and they know they're going to be sick one day. So they're literally investing in other people's illnesses. Not because they want other people to be sick, but because they know other people are going to be sick. They know other people are going to be sick because they're looking at them. Also, the Army's actually having a hard time recruiting soldiers. I heard about this, and the CDC website actually mentions that because there's so many people that are out of shape. They're having a hard time passing the basic physical fitness tests for the military, which could be a problem for national security. This is an important thing, what I'm about to talk about. I was once challenged by a teenager who said that, the problem with obesity is all genetic. These people all have like genetic medical problems that prevent them from losing weight, or they can't lose weight, or, things like that. So I took upon myself to just kind of make a point. I opened up a search engine and I entered the following search under images: high school graduation pictures, 1940s. And I pulled up probably around 10 high school class graduation, the entire graduating class of a high school from the 1940s. And I challenged this person to find the overweight people in those pictures. And I picked these at random. There were none. None. I went to the 1950s, pulled up a few. Didn't really see any. And I kept challenging, well, if these people are, if the people that are overweight now have this genetic condition, that means their ancestors had to have that same genetic condition. So that means they would have been overweight as well, but they weren't. Also, I went through the entire 60s, 70s, 80s, and you start to see a few. But then you go up into the 90s, 2000s, and now you start to see a lot. And you know, if you go to a local high school now, it's a mind-blowing experience that you see so many kids that are kind of big. And that wasn't something that was in my normal experience. I mean, there were some big kids in my school, but not that many. So, you know, we're seeing this, and people are trying to rationalize it, that it's genetic and it's this and it's that and it's something else, when it's really not. And the CDC also speaks to this under a heading on the page, and I'll leave this page in the description. Do genes have a role in obesity? This is, I'm quoting directly from the Centers for Disease Control. This is the United States government. They collect and tabulate all the data on illnesses in the United States. Genetic changes in human populations occur too slowly to be responsible for the obesity epidemic. Now, they do go on to say, nevertheless, the variation in how people respond to the environment, and that an environment that promotes physical inactivity and intake of high-calorie food suggests that genes may play a role in the development of obesity. Now, what is that saying? It's saying that it's not genetic per se, but if you're sitting around and doing nothing, and you're eating a whole lot of high-calorie food, particularly carbs, and you can look that up for yourself. If you're sitting around doing nothing, eating a lot of carbs, you're going to put on weight, and it's going to stay on. If you eat healthy and you exercise, that won't happen. It's in your control. It's something you can manage. Now, typically, I will send people to their primary care physician. It's a common practice for therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, and we'll ask them to have the primary care doctor get some blood work done. Get your thyroid checked. Get your testosterone checked. You know, just do a full panel. You know, check all the metabolic stuff, just to make sure there isn't a physical problem. You know, there are people out there, it's a small percentage, but I've encountered them. If your thyroid's in the tank, you're going to gain weight and not be able to lose it. You're going to have a low energy level. Same thing with a male with testosterone. If you're a male in your 50s and you walk into my office with symptoms of depression, I'm going to ask you to go to your doctor and get thyroid and testosterone checked, just to be sure. Those things can be corrected, however. Those things can be corrected, and then you can take care of yourself. So, I know this is going to be a little bit of a quickie video compared to my other ones, but I want to make it very, very clear, guys, that a lot of things are in your control when it comes to your health, physical, otherwise. There are people out there that says it's okay to be big, it's okay to be huge, it's perfectly healthy. No, they're anti-science. They're going to get a lot of people killed. They're probably just rationalizing. So, you know, working on your condition is hard. You know, if you're a severely overweight person, and I know people that, you know, they were over 300, close to 400 pounds, and they've lost like over 100 pounds, and God bless them, it's awesome. But it takes a lot of work to do that. It takes a lot of discipline to do that. And a lot of people find it easier to simply say, well, it's okay to be this big, when it really isn't. So don't listen to that static. Just ignore that kind of stuff. Stick with science. I like to tell people, live in a fact-based reality. You know, gravity always makes things fall down, and obesity will kill you. You know, people can lie about it all they want. It's not going to change reality. So guys, embrace that reality. Embrace the fact that you can alter yourself within reason to be healthy. Just be the best you can be. And again, if you want to start diet, you want to start exercise, start with your doctor. If you have a doctor that really isn't working with you, then find a doctor that will. But be aggressive in taking care of your physical health, just like you're aggressive in taking care of your thinking, your bank account, any other thing that's important to you, because all those other things cease to be relevant when this stops working. So that's it for today, guys. Have a great day. Want to close as I always do. If you or someone you know is thinking about suicide or discussing that, please use the suicide prevention hotline that I'm going to put down in the description below. Suicide is almost always a long-term solution to a short-term problem. Things almost always get better. There are usually always a way to get through whatever it is you're going through right now. Seek out help, get assistance, get together with your friends, family members, any supports that you have, and get through this. It's doable. Guys, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell so you'll be notified when I release additional videos. Otherwise, have a great day.